Yeah, again today, I was very happy with the effort of our team, and that's been the trademark of this group all season long, and that is that they play extremely hard regardless of the situation. And I thought that they did that again today. Additionally, I thought the effort that they gave in tough spots and tough situations, even when Presbyterian came back and closed the game to within 5 points at the end. I was very happy with the way our guys responded to that situation and turned it up a notch and were able to pull out the win. I think we had several key defensive plays on the day, and I know you'll have some questions here for Andrew coming up with 2 big sacks on the day. Mike had a number of tackles. He was always around the football, and then Cody and Reggie each had big plays, or a number of big plays on the offensive side. So I think what you saw today was a complete team effort. It was a team win. We're happy to get our second conference win, and our goal is to go out next week and finish at 500 in the Big South.
Andrew, that final sack there on that last drive, how big was that, and really that whole final stand?
It was extremely big. I got the sack, but we've been playing good defense all day, and just to finish it off strong with that was amazing to get this win.
Any emotions right now being senior day?
I don't know. I'm just all, so yeah, I guess there is some emotions.
Cal, how about that final stand by the defense?
Well, the defense, made their mind up when we had to go back on the field there at the end that we were going to go out and win the game right there on that drive. We knew it was a situation where Presbyterian was going to have to throw the ball, so that allowed us to really turn the guys up front loose, and the guys on the back end did a good job with the coverage. So, it was huge. Anytime you can go out and win the game with your defense like that, I think it says a lot about the character and the effort of those guys.
And Mike, from your standpoint, just what were you seeing on that final drive?
We just coach just put us in a good position to make plays. So he gave us the coverage, and we were just trying to execute the coverage and do everything we could to get off the field and win this game.
What changed between the first half and the second half in terms of the execution and being able to kind of move the ball better?
Well, what Coach Marsh has said, it was just like we can't hurt ourselves offensively, and so we got off to a slow start. And we knew after we scored that first touchdown, we only got the ball for 1 drive in the second quarter. So we knew coming out in the third quarter, in the second half, that we needed to get it together, and just run our offense and make sure we're getting the plays in a positive direction. No, not really. We just went out there and played what Coach gave us, but I don't know. It seemed like when we were out on the field, it wasn't that bad. I don't know. I don't think it was that big of a factor.
I'd have to agree with Cody. At the start of the game, you thought it was going to be much more of a factor than it was, and it really didn't alter the kicking game as much as it could have. We took a couple opportunities. We chose not to kick the ball deep on kickoffs, and looking back at it now, maybe we should have. We gave up a little bit of field position there, but it wasn't as big a factor as I thought it was going to be.
Reggie, when you caught that ball, did you know you were going to get it with, or were you just kind of focused on making the catch?
I was just focused on making the catch. I didn't realize they threw the flag until after the catch, and I ended up making it.
Andrew, on the final 2 series with the sacks, was there any blitzing called on those 2 plays?
I don't think so, no. It was just a straight rush, and Coach let us go, and we were able to get them down.
Coach, you mentioned that this is your second Big South win. You have a chance to hit 500 in the Big South next week. How big would that be for the program?
I think
your first road win in the Big South also, wouldn't it?
Yes, it would be.
Yeah.
I think it would be a big step for the program. In our second year in the Big South, to get to a 500 record, I think would show not only improvement over last year, but shows that we're closing the gap on some of the other teams. When we left the Northeast Conference and came into the Big South, we knew we were going to have some work to do in terms of increasing to the level of scholarships that everybody else has. We're slowly closing that gap, and take another cycle or 2 before we do. But we're showing that we can play with everybody in this league, and we can beat some of the teams in this league. So I'm happy with the progress that we're making in that regard, and we've got to make sure we close it out with a win next week.